Okay. Hi there. My name is Abil Beckford, and today is the latest episode of the One Problem podcast interview. My guests come on, they present a problem, and they have 6 minutes to provide a solution. And it's a way for all of us to learn from each other. Most of the interviews I've done so far, I have some sort of relationship with my guests. And I met Nancy maybe a year and a half now. We're in a Facebook group together. I'm feeling a little bit stressed. I think I'm going to mess up her name. So today, my very special guest is Nancy Ynchaustegui.
Perfect.
So over to you.
Hi, thank you so much for having me here. It's super an honor to be here speaking with you and your audience. And a great challenge, right? To get that solution out quick and to the point. So I appreciate that. The problem that I would like to address today is getting ahead of stress. Right? So you were talking about stress just now. And a lot of times we get stressed because of expectations that we place on ourselves, either from childhood things or from, wanting to be perfect. And I just want to start off by saying that you don't have to be perfect to be excellent. And you are excellent, Avil. Okay? So I'm going to start off because stress, a lot of times we get very serious. So I'm going to lighten up the mood. And so when I was thinking about the stress, I was like, let's talk about stress. And that made me think of a song. I won't say the song's name, but you'll get the hint. So let's talk about stress, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about stress. So it's important for us to understand that stress is not always a bad thing, that we have stress hormones and we have those hormones for a reason. Our body would not have them. We would not be evolved to have stress hormones unless they were beneficial to us. So under extreme circumstances or situations where we would need stress, it helps us to stay motivated, be focused on what we're doing. But the issue comes when we have chronic stress or perpetual stress, or we're always in a stress state. That is detrimental to our physical health. It causes many of the ailments and diseases that we have within our body. It affects our mental health. It affects our creativity as entrepreneurs and creatives. It affects so many different aspects that we don't even think about. So that's why I want to address the chronic stress part. So I want to break it down into 2 different parts. We have acute and we have anticipated. So acute stress would be stress in the moment, like right now. Okay, you're experiencing a stressful situation right now. So there's a couple of things that you can do to help alleviate that acute stress. The first one is to leave wherever you are, right? So if you're sitting in front of your laptop, get up and go outside. Change your location. Getting outside is particularly good because we see expansive views, and we're seeing a big, open, expansive view. Your brain naturally thinks, ooh, calm, beautiful, and it kind of lowers those stress hormones. Another thing you can do, I am a movement specialist and I work on a lot with my clients about getting more movement in their day and the benefits of movement. So moving your body is super important. When you contract your muscles, so we know that when we move our body, we release endorphins, which help make us feel better. But they're coming to learn about lots of other different hormones and molecules and chemicals that are released only when we move our body. So for example, hope molecules are released from our muscles, go through the blood-brain barrier, and affect our mood. They call them hope molecules because it makes you feel more hopeful. So when you're in a very stressed situation, who doesn't want hope, right? A lot of times when we're stressed is because we're thinking of doom and gloom, the worst case scenario. So these hope molecules will definitely help you in those situations. And the last thing is just to breathe. So you can practice a 4-4-6 breathing pattern where you take a deep inhale through your nose is important, through your nose for 4, you hold it for 4, and then you release for 6. Again, this triggers to our brain that we are calm and safe. And we also activate our vagus nerve, which helps calm us. All right, so let's talk about the anticipated anxiety. You know you have a stressful week coming up, or there's holidays, you know you're going to be pulled to all different directions. What do? The stress isn't here yet, but you know it's here. And a lot of times with the stress then comes anxiety, because you're thinking about the stress coming up and you're spending more time thinking about the bad outcome of it than actually the solution of it. So number 1, plan ahead. It doesn't have to be months in advance. It could be for that week. It could be for the next day. So if you look at your calendar and you see that you have a lot going on with yourself, with your family, with your job, then plan ahead and know, okay, Wednesday is going to be a super crazy day for me. I'm not going to be able to make a home cooked meal, which is totally okay, right? The guilt is the important thing to release. I'm going to order in for that day. Okay. Plan ahead. And in planning ahead, you know, and you have time to ask people for help. So if you wait till the last minute to figure out what you're going to do, then it's harder to get people to help you. And it's important that you are not afraid of asking people for help, because people want to help, right? And if they can't, they'll say no. If you're a boss or you have employees or both, and you have deadlines coming up, ask for those specific deadlines, ask for the information you need to complete the project, ask for the information that you need to get that deadline done, right? To be successful with that. With teaching, because I'm a middle school teacher as well, there's a lot of miscommunication or no communication, and then they tell us last minute. So don't feel bad asking over and over. If they want this to be successful, then you need that information. So continue to ask them. Okay. And that forces them to get their act together, right? If they're not doing that, then you need to set boundaries and be like, well, if I don't have this information by Thursday, then I'm not going to be able to complete the project, or I'm going to have to do something else, right? That's if you're waiting for like information to give someone else a product. Like what, it's a client, like I need your copy in order to do the graphic. And if they don't do that, you know, that you tell them what's involved there. If it's you are waiting for someone else so that you can do something for you personally, you have to also plan for, okay, what if they don't give me the information? What am I going to do instead? So setting those boundaries really helps. And then once you set those boundaries and you stick to them, which is really hard, people will learn that they need to get you your information and you become a priority. I think the most important thing is to analyze your to-do list. Our to-do list is long and never ending. I want you to look at that to-do list and how many of those to-dos are actually yours, and how many of them are actually someone else's things that they're asking you to do. Those things that might not be pertaining to things that you need for your job, just things that other people's agenda, right? So you need to prioritize that as well. And figure out, what am I doing? One, out of obligation that I don't have to do. I'm just doing it out of obligation. 2, I'm doing to be liked, or to have a good reputation, or to look good, or whatever it might be. You need to really analyze those things, because all of that, doing all of that for everybody is not worth the stress and the long-term effects on your health and your wellness. So you really need to figure out what you can remove, especially in higher times, right? So if you have a lull and it's not so busy for you personally, then you can take on some other things. But if it's crazy time for you and you have a lot of things that you need to get done or that you're doing for fun, right? So I'm a dancer and I have rehearsal. My kids also have their activities. And sometimes I have to tell them, I'm sorry, you can't go to practice today. I have a rehearsal that I have to go to in order to perform. So it's not always work related. It could be something personal too. It doesn't have to be something so crucial for you to say no to someone else about. I just on Friday, I'm going to the movies. No, I cannot do whatever you're asking me to do. You know what I'm saying? So I want you to take all those things into consideration, but really analyze that to-do list. Once that to-do list is small enough, right, and you're prioritizing, then you can build in time for when things pop up, because that's another issue. Things pop up that we didn't expect. You can't expect everything and predict everything. So if you have some time in your schedule, then you will feel calmer and not as stressed because you have the time. So that is my solution to getting ahead of stress and also dealing with acute stress situations. Back to you, Avel.
Thank you so much, Nancy.
You're welcome. Thank you.